As James mentioned, SK are super good at it.
So here we go. Without further ado, it's map number 2 between Liquid and SK. Liquid starting off on the T side, but it's Fur who starts it off with a headshot onto Elige, and he wants some more. Re-peeks into the angle and then attempts to retreat, but now the T side's breathing down his neck as he walks his way downstairs. It's Stan to catch the kill, and a 4v4 is what we're left with.
Yeah. It's interesting to see Stan not getting too aggressive. Standing in the doorway gives him direct line of sight on Fur, who'd come down the stairs, but they had to just hope that he came down the stairs, and they were correct about it. Fur had walked out the long way. He would have gotten away with his life, and this 4v4 is now huge for that reason. Nitro and Twist both have Molotovs. You can assume that one of them is going to go and either land on default or backside, and the other one up in heaven or backside.
Ooh, Fallen walks into his demise as Twists catches the headshot. And Team Liquid just ice cold at the moment. Holding to the bottom of mid. Taco dodges the flashbang. Nitro gets executed, and the second falls as well. Cold wants to come in with a kill of his own, but now the man's crossed towards Stables. That's JDM with an opportunity to kill, and finally he drops coldzera, but then he too is toppled as Phelps catches that last frag, and SK win their pistol.
That was so sick. That was so sick. Those two, actually 3 kills in that round. 2 for 2. Players coming out lower A and dodging the flash too was a big reason why I was even able to have that opportunity. SK move into this round now after that victory, even though Liquid came close to winning it, doing a good job in the early round, answering back to Fur's opening kill. But because there was no plant, we see a mixed buy. SK investing at least with 2 players in their rifles. Ideally, they're going to try to funnel as many kills as they can into these SMGs and work from there.
Yeah, we saw them utilize this same strat on Train, looking to milk the cash cow early on. Of course, they do have the M4 of Taco in the mix, but he tries to put himself at a distance.
I wonder why Liquid don't have a single flash, though.
A single flash for lower door?
A single flash for lower door, a single flash for long B, a single flash for drop, anything. That flash can be so useful.
Elige does bait out a couple of shots, and Twists catches the head of Fur. That was over on long A. So now Fallen has to fall back because his flank could have been compromised.
It seems like Stan has pushed everybody back to B while he stays here. And he's finally walking out, but the longer that he takes without making any presence, the more SK are going to realize that it's probably not going to be A. Oh, there still is the opportunity. Drop to A, very viable.
At this point as well, these pistols can pay off in the B site, but it's Phelps with the M4 that catches 1 kill. Cold up close, looks for more, and he will find Nitro, so it's Liquid to hit the floor as SK hit their headshots. I mean, double M4, not just one, over towards that B site. Sure enough, Liquid take the drop down, but they still have to close that gap, and it's inside of that gap that they all get mowed down.
They did try. They had a good attempt. They got into the site, in and around it, but unfortunately SK did a good thing, having both their players up at long B with the ability to trade and keep that long range in both situations. A rifle in E-box might not have been as valuable as a rifle at long B, even if you let players onto the site, just because of how close those Tech 9s and CZs can get. Once again, not a lot bought from Liquid, a couple of upgraded pistols, and not much else, no plants to speak of to support any further investments.
I can't help but feel like Liquid, unfortunately for them, they're going to get distracted by Taco, who has the M4 to the back of Plat. Phelps is going to swing out and just mow down the entirety of the T's. Taco reveals himself, and Phelps now takes the chance to push in, but having spotted 2 players up close and knowing there could be more, he falls further back where he does die. It's Elige to catch the headshot off of the Glock. coldzera finds 1, but here comes Fur very quickly collecting his kills. It's Liquid down 0-3. SK, not just the pistol, but conversions to follow suit.
pretty similar to how SK started out the first map, with just such a clean start on the anti-ecos, not losing any players where they shouldn't, and Liquid unable to get plants just like SK were in those first rounds as well. So moving into this one for AKs and opt for JDM, who again had questionable presence on Train. Hope that he can change that up. That would definitely be a definitive factor in winning them this map, and he's also got to go up against 2 ops in the hands of SK, 1 in Tacos, 1 in Fallens.
Kind of talked about that in the pregame prior to Train, but we would see SK having the ability to rely on that double op setup. They just have the depth when it comes to their players, whereas we don't really see Liquid pull that out as often. It's JDM who's very much dedicated to the AWP, and nobody else who can really pick it up to the same pedigree as SK. It's Fallen's op that looks to get aggressive on A. Of course, nobody pushing back from Liquid. Instead, they'll assume control of lower. Fur with his eyes on door, but nobody to help out Fallen. He's now all alone.
Yeah. Fortunately for SK, and they don't know this, but Fallen is up here at long with no one to come behind him. So he does hear steps. He can focus on that, not much else. The molly's no good from Fur. He lets players out. Fallen is actually already here to flank.
Oh, big play as 2 kills are found. There's Fallen just pulling the trigger. Elige in the corner cowers as he's now dropped, so it's Stanislaus' flank that's all that remains. Coldzera's going to try to get into position, but Stan will take him down. That's something for Liquid, but that something's near nothing as SK box him in.
It seems like one of the most truly challenging things about facing SK is the fact that if you're just quiet for a second or two, there's the opportunity for a player with an op to get so aggressive that they're willing to push long A and flank lower A. Like that is something you don't find versus many teams. I mean, especially not one that would consider themselves the best team in the world. It seems like something that's too aggressive to try very often, but with SK, happens all the time and they get away with it. I talk with them as a unit because they all kind of have this quality. Long B control with a smoke and Phelps. The real issue for Liquid is not that they want to get this kill, it's that they know that SK can be safe and they don't want them to feel safe.
There's another one for Stan, though. He catches the headshot on what would have been Phelps' flank. But now Fur wants to get into the fray. Tries to peek through vent. Doesn't want to make the sound cue. So Taco will be left all alone on this B site. Now he's spotted. Twist takes him down with a dirty deeg. And now it's a 2v3 to the favor of Liquid as they've planted the bomb. Fur and Fallen have to make this retake happen. And they're coming in from separate angles. Fur actually falls further back, so I think they just forfeit this round.
Looks like they will. I mean, Fallen's just looking for exits at this point. He's not going to attempt this all by himself. Wow, Liquid just win that round. And I think, you know, if Taco gets that kill, it would have still been very hard to finish, or if Taco got that kill, it'd be very hard to have traded them out after that. So I think there's a lot to be said about that one deke from Twist and the kills they got in the middle of that round. But wow, surprised to see this result, and I think it's actually in Liquid's best interest to just hang on to the guns they have and not forfeit anymore. Though Twist only a deagle, doesn't have that much to save. Either way, SK bringing op into this round. Still a 3-round differential, tons of money in the bank for SK. And I wonder what we'll see from Liquid now that that's worked, of all things.
Yeah, I mean, that's the kind of round that you know, it gets over one of the biggest issues that would have been for Liquid to deal with, which was if or when they won their first round, what kind of economy were they going to be left over with? And winning a round with only pistols puts you in a perfect spot to now mitigate that huge disadvantage. They're going to have to get themselves through this full buy of SK. Yet again, a double op setup. Phelps gets tagged up off of the frag. JDM posts on the angle where he finds his 5v4. Taco missing his op shot and now looking to spot over the top of the statue. But instead, Liquid just U-turn. Fall back through Museum and look to set their gaze on A.
Oof. He actually hit him, I think. No. Did he? Yeah, Stan took a little bit of damage there. It looked like it might have been a flick upwards and through the wall, maybe like light through the wall or something like that. Spotted damage being dealt with that Molotov. Liquid focusing their attention still on A, however, and I think that once they saw Fallen up there, it's mostly a win for Liquid, because even though Stan took that damage, Fallen's like, all right, they saw what I did last round. They know exactly what I was planning to do this one. So I've got to go do something completely brand new, and all the while, Liquid can maybe do what they set out to do in that previous round.
Now in the round with only pistols, Liquid were able to take down Drop, head towards the A site, and double back towards B. And this time they don't have that. They're just going to be going straight towards the B site, where Taco finds a pick. That's Nitro down, and coldzera to come out from the corner. Duels versus Elige, and finds another frag, but it's Fur with the next one, and a dig towards Stan, which allows Fallen to finish it off. No, Fallen got the entirety of that kill. 2 op shots connect, the second the killer. This was a big play here from Cold, revealing himself late, allowing those terrorists to feel safe, and then ripping it from them.
It's so interesting how, like, Flowers is a position on the site that's hardest to get to versus a rush. You can't normally get there safely and hide, but at the same time, once you do get there, you're almost guaranteed 1 or 2 kills, even though it's a position that doesn't give you much. It doesn't give you much of an angle to work with. And so you want to pepper in a spot like that once every few rounds. And you know that for your team, if the other team goes to your site, you're going to be able to guarantee at least 1 or 2 kills.
Now it's Fur to play long A. He's got 3 terrorists on the other side of that smoke. Does not want to get overwhelmed, so he decides to retreat back. He will get around the corner, finding Sanctuary in Stables, where he decides to stay. SK start to rotate over, or at least get closer towards connector door, as Fallen takes the top side of the site.
Forward A control hasn't been giving up easily by SK, and in this round, Liquid will use it to split.
That is the only smoke they have to play off of, and it's going to block off connector door. Fur up close. Fallen finds 1 frag and doubles down onto JDM. Damage has already been dealt, the bomb's been dropped, and it's all on Elige. 1v3 with 30 seconds left. He's going to try to spam towards site, but coldzera gets him with the headshot. That's SK to 6 as the coffers of Liquid are emptied.
Yeah, it's a tough loss. Fallen getting that trade as well. JDM is starting to turn up a little bit. And Fallen getting those 2 kills, very important, and showing that he is, just as on point as ever. They know that Liquid here will have absolutely no money. They saw head armor in that previous round. They saw a couple of SMGs. All that's indicative of is that Liquid had very little money and they spent all that they had remaining. So SK, because of that, are going to probably use Fur and really just pull the pin on him. I assume that as soon as he hears noise being made or like 1 flash pop, he's just going to push this if no one's there.
Finds Nitro first and foremost.
He knows what's up.
Yeah, Fallen does too. Just watching the bottom of the door, allowing these players to filter towards Fur, who will find another 2. So 3K to his name, and an MP9 in the hands of Elige, but coldzera and Taco get aggressive. And Cold sees the knees of Elige as he will retreat, leaving Twists inside the staircase. Now this could bait a player in. Phelps might not check this, but he does, and that's an easy kill. So it's only the bomb carrier left, and unfortunately for Elige, he has been boxed in. He's able to catch coldzera, so some more damage dealt,
what?
And another onto the head of Phelps. A smoke and flash on his belt in a 1 versus 2 versus double ops.
You have to be kidding. That's kind of nuts. 40 seconds left, and again, as you mentioned, 2 ops. I don't know if he's got any trick smokes to play with, but this would be the time to do it from long A. Instead, it looks like he's going to use his ability to go incognito here and sneak that opening kill. I mean, if he does. Oh, he saw that. Whoa, if he had been looking, he saw that flash. Fallen, however, might have won that duel anyways. We'll never know. But still, very good attempt. And honestly, a lot of money recovered for Liquid, who didn't have much to invest in this round.
Yeah, exactly. Considering what they had bought into it, they get something rolling.
I think if Elige was able to drop an off because of it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
We've got the cannon in the hands of JDM. Still to be countered by this double op setup. SK have been running it since the 4th round of this half. Buying it when they can. Of course, it's a B site stack, and we saw or heard James speak of the drop-down aggression. Well, here it is. Not just a CT, but a CT opper at that. Pushed up close as Liquid tried to push into the B site. Elige executes Phelps, but Taco drops the bomb, and then he is traded out. Fallen on the quick flank, and coldzera to hold it off. 2 quick frags, and JDM swept under the rug as SK find another. Fallen's flanking with this AWP. That's 2 crucial rounds he does that.
Yeah, it seems every single round that he has pushed, he's been able to get a kill for it. Or at least not get killed on his way to pushing it. So very smart, just like Stan had been at Ivy, and just had Stan had been at Inner as he had flanked ladder. Great timing on those plays. And when you're, that aggressive on CT side, where on a map where those CT rounds should more or less be handed to you, you have enough players on the other side to not have to worry about that. You really got to pick a good time to do it, and they've been doing a great job of that.
What's crazy as well is that, I mean, people always discuss how the CT side of Cobblestone can keep you so stagnant, how it really limits your options and your ability to go for those aggressive CT plays.
Yeah.
And yet, you speak of, how you have to hit the timing perfectly. Well, SK have done that at least twice, all off of Fallen, who gets himself the kill to Elige as the T side hits a brick wall on long. Fur hides, and Fallen comes in wide with another headshot to his name and another round for SK.
Another buyout for Liquid. I don't know if we're going to have the money invested in an op. We've seen the fast B play not work so well, and honestly, it looked like a round as it played out that it could have gone either way. There were a couple very important pushes that we saw on the site after Taco had went down with the op, where it was like, this trade goes the other way. Maybe Fallen doesn't have anyone to op on B plat because they're already on the site. He's still alive and it's a new round, but at the same time, could it have been a viable fast B strategy? And I think that's a question that's unanswered for Liquid. I think they might see it the same way. That being said, they're not going to try that this round. Instead, back to a default. JDM was able to find a kill on Phelps, being very aggressive at long B here before. And at the very least, we'll be able to hang on to long B control, which for the most part is given to you as a terrorist, but there has started to become some options after Virtus Pro kind of invented long B control with their Molotovs and smokes. And on this one, it's going to be a lot more simple. Wow.
Poor JDM, he hasn't spotted a single body, and yet he sits on 1/3 his health.
One of the hardest maps by far to get. I'd say this map is going to be harder than Train to get an opening kill on T side with an op.
Your options are certainly limited, especially if we see CTs just bottle up, as they so commonly do.
You're really just banking, like, a Train you have T-Con where you can see all the way back to Train Stop or around all these different trains. On this map, people are bouncing nades off boxes to fend off long B, where you have to come out parallel to your opponent and be at a short distance, or face somebody who could be peeking from either side of Chicken Coop. It's really not that easy. But Liquid are putting a lot of stock into his op.
There's no nades left on the CT side, and a flash for the terrorists as the entirety of Liquid start to collapse down onto the A site. There are defenders here, and they're going to need big kills. Taco's able to take one as we hit the 10-second mark. The bomb's been dropped, and there's still CTs to be found. They're coming in from both directions.
They don't have time.
It's a round for SK. They have to do nothing but stay alive. They'll continue to fight, they'll continue to kill, and they want these last 2 frags as the terrorists will retreat. SK find another round.
Oh my god, it's tough to say whose fault that is. I mean, geez, that's tough. I mean, it really depends on what the information was on the guy who had the bomb. If he thought that the only way he was able to aggress onto the site was by running up the wall close to the door, then that's what he had to do. But otherwise, that puts the bomb in a very awkward spot. He's got to run around the truck. Eventually, he's got to fight a guy, or at least run past the guy who is in heaven, so his teammate's not supporting him. There's a lot of reasons why that might not have worked. And, beyond that, bomb gets dropped, not much time remaining. You could put it to the fact that maybe the execute didn't come out fast enough. There's Fallen on this rifle round with his op. Once again at long, and oh my god, he's pushing through this. Oh my god.
Up close, Stan near caught off guard, but it's Twists with the headshot, Taco with the flames.
I can't believe he pushed through that.
Confident play from Fallen. It's crazy, it almost gets him a kill. But now it's Stanislaw who's crept his way through connector. This is a weakness in the defense of SK. Cold in drop, traded back, and it leaves JDM 1v3. He's got an AK and a minute to play. The smoke goes wide, and the op shot connects from Taco. That's now a 10-round difference here for SK. Almost as convincing as the first half of Train.
Defining characteristic of SK's CT side so far has been this double op setup, the reliance on it, and also just how aggressive Fallen's been at long A, which is something that just not a lot of people do. I mean, that was crazy. That's not something that you would do on a first rifle round. That's something you do when you are 11-1 up,
yeah,
or 10-1 up at the time. But at the same time, just, man. You know, that's like when Stan sees him coming through, he's like, all right, they are just feeling way too good right now.
Liquid are just going to try to charge into the B site. Phelps is behind them, but he gets overwhelmed. It's Taco from the Coop with the next, and coldzera up close as his teammates start to fall. Elige, all that's left, 1v2 with an M4 in hand. He catches Cold and tries to transition the spray, but it's still fallen on display. The headshot connects, and Liquid double their rounds.
Well done. Really nice 1v2 from Elige. It was obviously hectic, and we saw that by the way Cold was playing it. He was trying to keep him out here to make him as uncomfortable as possible, throwing the Molotov to his right, and then taking the duel immediately, but Elige was not planning on running at all. He had no intention of straying from that fight. Instead, was ready. And that can be the difference maker as well. If you do get pushed into your comfort zone, you can lose a duel for that reason. And if you do decide to stay out in the open, you don't feel like you can run, and play into their hand in a way that they aren't expecting, then you can do what Elige just did.
Speaking of comfort zone, seems like SK were caught off guard by that aggressive push from Liquid. We've seen some faster plays, but that one was full pedal to the metal, throwing themselves through smoke and throwing away a 5v4 in this round. Already Fallen catching Elige. Stan wants to trade frag, but there is a crossfire set. Fur in position for the old bait and switch. And if Fallen hits this flick, then that threat is immediately quelled. He spots the shoulder, shot goes wide, and Fur instead will take the kill. Nice creep, nice setup from SK.
Yeah, indeed. There was no reason for him to assume that there was somebody else in front of the door in that situation. And wow, fully blind JDM gets taken out by Fur, no problem, and they are just getting dismantled now.
I mean, the confidence here from Fallen, just constantly trying to fight this, and it pans out for his favor. That's SK with another round. So unfortunately for Liquid, the one-off victory that they've gotten is with that straight-up B rush. They try to go into something more structured, and SK are already able to dismantle that attempt. So really cool to see SK with such a commandeering lead and such a successful half. I mean, we saw Liquid do it on the first map, and now it's SK with revenge.
Indeed, and in those previous rounds where they did move slower, they came closer many times than they did there. Nice pick off, like huge pick off from Fallen that early in the round. No damage in return, no information gained from it at all. And that's a rifle at least that Liquid can pick up here. Fallen getting another kill on A, and with this off line of sight, his teammates can stack B happily and not have to worry about him.
I feel like this double op setup from SK has just been so successful. Again, they bought it up as early as they could. Round number 4 was the first time we saw it, and we've seen it ever since. We'll see if coldzera can catch a headshot up close. He does get the headshot, but not the kill. As JDM's able to retreat, Phelps gets toppled off of the plat as Taco gets caught in the open. 20 points of health keeps him alive. They know exactly where he is. If only they had grenades. Team Liquid desperately trying to find this final round. Nitro, all that's left now, 1v4. The duels come his way, but the frags are all SK's. That is a 13-2 half. Very, very convincing stuff. I mean, the fact that SK are able to put so many rounds on the board could already have sealed this matchup. We might get the 1-1 split, but you guys are going to have to stay tuned for the second half of this second map in order to find out. We'll see you in a little bit. Welcome back, folks, to the ESL Pro League, which is almost 2 maps deep. Of course, we are after the first half of what was a very convincing start here from SK.
Yeah, it was a lot like the first half of Train. It just doesn't seem like Liquid are going to come back from it for some reason, is the problem. I think a lot of the reasons that we saw SK have such a bad start in the first map was they just weren't hitting shots.
Yeah.
And then they came back in the second half. Now they're hitting shots. Now everything is working so well. It just seems super scary for Liquid.
I mean, not only were they not hitting shots, but at least they were successfully planting bombs. There was a lot more that you could definitely praise from SK on their, very unfortunate first half. Whereas here for Liquid, they've just kind of gone absent. I mean, the second round that they're able to put on the board comes off the back of an aggressive B take, which is kind of one of those rounds you just throw to the wind and happen to win. So it's a tough spot here for Liquid, but as seen in the first map, a pistol round victory, some conversion points, and a couple convincing gun rounds, suddenly you're back in the map. So
certainly seen it happen before.
Yeah, we can't count Liquid out, although they're in a bit of a pickle.
A bit of a pickle. A lot of a pickle.
A very large pickle.
They're in a bit of a big pickle right now. Yeah, I think the first course of action, besides winning the pistol for Liquid on their CT side, is I guess just like they were doing on Train, is figuring out how to get that opening kill without getting scratched, and that was a big win. That was a big deal for them in the first map, and I think on Cobble there will be opportunities all the time where SK are going to be overly aggressive, send Phelps out as a lurk on drop, for example. And the thing is, like, there's a lot of safe ways to take it. There could be Fur and Phelps, and Fur will go down drop as well, and they could just have a noise bait, have a player drop, have a Molotov for the window, or just have someone sit up top drop, holding window, and wait for somebody to work E-box as they decide to go out long B with 3 people. And one great answer to that is to throw Molotovs or just jump nades to the window and through E-box, but you really have to be certain that there's someone there, or you're wasting one of your only opportunities to control that area of the map.
These odds seem extremely skewed for some reason.
It's really I'm not exactly sure what influenced that.
So, Liquid, CT side, gets aggressive already over on A. Stanislaw trying to duel off versus Phelps. This is a prolonged pistol duel, but eventually Stan falls a little back. He's not gone all the way towards site, but instead set himself up with a teammate by his side. That's going to be Nitro in the corner, able to catch the first headshot. Cold trades it back, so now Nitro needs one, but it's Cold to double down as Twists finds Fur, and that rotation from Liquid gets to the A site. But SK have yet to commit. They don't need to keep charging in. They've still got Taco towards drop down, but Fallen finds himself removed. Twists with another kill, and now SK's split.
That's a huge deal. Now they effectively have no... Oh, wow. Cold gets a kill on Twist as well. Twist pushing for information in the 2v2. And that, I mean, that just throws it for them, because at this point, Taco's holding onto his site. He knows that Cold's Air can be escorted in here. They know that their opponent is not at B. And JDM has so much work on his hands now.
Taco's already up close inside the corner. JDM takes him down, knows the man's near sight as the bomb's now planted. Cold spotted out. JDM's got the kit, but he's gonna get pushed as Cold will retreat. Cold Zera already sitting on the 3K as he repositions behind those boxes. JDM just hoping he puts himself on display, but why would he? Now JDM could stick this, taps it, and Cold through the smoke finds his 4th and a 14 to the board of SK. Beautiful stuff here. This is how he kicked off the round with his Glock, executing both CTs on long, and then swapping to the USP for those final 2 frags. So another major difference between these first 2 maps, Launders. Not only were there no plants for Liquid, but they don't win the second pistol.
Coldzera is so smart mechanically. I mean, he's even just how he handled that peak, right? The crosshair placement, everybody knows. Put it at head level, come in and out, try not to peek too wide, whatever. But Cold, anticipating that Nitro is going to come out farther for this fight and just hold it as shallow as he did, was so smart, and had no chance of dying, really. So kind of defensively baited a peek out and ends up being the man to win the round at the end of it. think the only thing that could have gone differently is Twist, for Twist not to have pushed back into lower A in that 2v2. But in the 2v2, it's not so black and white. It's difficult to say whether or not you need to make a play or sometimes you shouldn't. And there it is, a drop bait. 2 players making noise and making it seem like they definitely did go down.
Now, while Stan catches Fallen, Phelps is able to trade. But that's still a 4v4 for Liquid to work off of. And, of course, they come into this round with the Scout pistol buy. Unfortunately for Nitro, he's not ahead of this push. SK currently congregated towards B. Of course, they have utility to play off of. This is one of those moments where pistols can prevail.
Oh, yeah.
So the Molotov of Phelps goes to the backside of the stairs. Elige on the other side of the box, up close, sprays off the CZ, takes one, swaps to the ump, but down he goes as Taco slays 2. And it's a man advantage for SK yet again. 15 seconds on the clock. Cold will need to cross, and Nitro's found a double headshot. Fur from the backside finds one frag, but Nitro with another. A big 3K from the Scout puts Liquid back in this game, at least for another round.
It's just astounding how well he was able to aim with that Scout thing. What's that flick? Unbelievable. Holy smokes, man. And this, he just, you know, after Twist did some damage, all he needed was a body shot. No reason to aim too high in that situation. Nasty stuff. That flick was unreal.
And to think he gets back into that bomb site in the nick of time. Was playing over towards long A after Stan had been lost early on, but they feel the presence towards B. And they're able to capitalize on it. Now, SK back into this round with somewhat of a bye. Everyone's on Kevlar. They've got the MAC-10 for Phelps. But it's pistols aplenty on SK. A couple of smokes can be used to execute in. Stan is caught up close. Nitro with a trade. He made a big play in the last round, and he needs to do it again. It's so much damage dealt as the player comes leaping in. That's Phelps. Now drop back from Twists, who tries to pry from the side of Valk. Drop back by Cold, who catches the headshot, and the bomb's gone down. It's SK in an afterplant 3v2 with still utility to play off of. They could so easily burn the clock here. Very successful initial push, but now the retake's in. They're able to push past towards connector. Cold drop back by Elige, who is now toppled. SK secure OT with a broken bargain buy.
Oh my god, that is no way to lose a round. The whiffs that happened on A and just, man, they look shook. SK are able to come back after, wow, I don't even know. This could be the last round of the game. Liquid have a half buy after that. The advantage going into that round, I don't even know. It's so weird how far they've fallen just from that last map where they looked so on point in terms of frags, mechanically just flawless. Teamwork was on point. Now it's just looking like they're extremely flustered.
Some would even say flabbergasted.
That's me. I'm the one that's flabbergasted.
As is Nitro, sitting on 10 HP already. So we'll see if that Scout can still reign supreme or find any impact whatsoever. That's pistols to take down 2, but Taco's opening onto the B bomb site where he will find Nitro, who is still able to cower in cover. Twists up close with an X, so it's down to the 4v2. SK finding struggles yet again, but Cold Zera's crept in. And he catches Nitro up close, sprays for the next, down goes Stan. JDM to follow suit.
They don't even have the bomb.
And Twists is all that's left. It's another one of these moments, Launders, where the bomb's going to be able to get itself into a bomb site before the CTs arrive. So Twists needs to clutch this out in a very big way, but both players tagged already.
Now Cold has the opportunity to get free damage off, even as low as he is, just because he can take any spot he wants, even finishes the kill. This is a joke, honestly. That's bad. They just came in 2 players into the